For the uninitiated, it may be easy to believe that Wisconsin is all beer,
Tastes as great as its name.
cheese, and bratwurst as big as your arm. But America's Dairyland is quietly a culinary powerhouse. I had to see it for myself, so I flew to Wisconsin to try 6 meals from 6 different cultures all in one weekend to see what I've been missing out on. I'm Tiana Attride, and welcome to Meals Not to Miss. The first myth to bust is the idea that the Midwest doesn't do fine dining. And to do that, I started with the man who put it on the map in Wisconsin, 2-time James Beard Award-winning chef Paul Bartolotta. Born and raised right here in Milwaukee, he and his late brother Joe built a local empire and redefined what dining out in Wisconsin could look like.
When Joe and I started this, we started as 2 kids trying to make a living for our families. Over time, the purpose became evident. Our purpose is to elevate the social fabric of the communities that we're a part of.
There are 17 Bartolotta restaurants in and around Milwaukee. On this particular trip, I stopped in at Bacchus for some Italian food, and naturally, we had to have one of everything on the menu, like thick cuts of charred Spanish octopus topped with chili oil that brings just the right pop of heat, citrusy yellowfin tuna crudo, tender sea scallops laid on a bed of fried black rice and coconut curry broth, and every single dessert. You might say that the Bartolotta's fine dining empire walked so that this man could run. This is Dane Baldwin, who was once named the best chef in the Midwest by the James Beard Foundation. He's the founder of the Diplomat, where American classics like burgers, steak, biscuits, deviled eggs, and even creamy peanut butter pie are elevated in an environment that looks like it walked straight out of my eclectic mid-century design-loving dreams.
I'm born and raised in Milwaukee. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to see Milwaukee's food scene change quite a bit. You know, of course, the beer is great, the cheese is great, the brats are great. Okay, we have that. We also have a great connection to our farmers, and that really puts us in a position to rely on seasonality and creative movements within the culinary world because of that.
Not only is the fine dining in Milwaukee underrated, but the sheer diversity, both of its food and the people who make it, shouldn't be underestimated. Take Jamaican restaurant Pepperpot, for example, which sits on the city's Martin Luther King Drive. Originally from St. Catherine, Jamaica, owner Dwight Jackson grew up cooking food for his grandmother, but started his restaurant journey in an unusual way.
I kind of was tapped out, and I was like, yo, I need some extra income, because the factory job would pay something, but it's not taking care of everything. I just decided to start cook and sell food to barbershops before I go to work. From 7 to 11 or 7 to 2, it would give me more money than what I would make for a week.
And you'll see why they're still thriving 15 years later. Order their famous crispy egg rolls, these deep bowls of curry that'll set you up for a long afternoon nap, and their jerk cheese curds, which one local told me he's heard called the best in the city. There's perhaps no higher honor in this part of the world.
When I came to America and I tell my friends, hey, I'm in Milwaukee. I'm Milwaukee. I can tell you, I am grateful for Milwaukee. I am blessed because of Milwaukee. Because the people in Milwaukee has rode with me from the day I started selling food out of my house until I'm here. Milwaukee has a special place in my heart.
Jackson isn't the only restaurateur in the city who feels like it takes a village. Take Chef Gregory Leon, founder of local favorite Amilinda. The name comes from a combination of Leon's parents' names, Amilcar and Linda, and means "to my beautiful" in Spanish. Through and through, this is a restaurant built on and sustained by love and family, both blood and chosen.
Well, when I came in 2012, I feel like there was just a renaissance within the Milwaukee food scene. So all these great little independent restaurants were getting ready to open. There's just a really incredible concentration of very talented chefs for the size of the city. There's lots of different types of cuisine. And there's a real sense of community amongst most of the chefs and restaurant owners. My favorite stories to tell about Amilinda is during the pandemic, when the stimulus checks started to go out, send us their checks. And I always cry when I tell the story. And they all had notes on them saying to the effect, this is my favorite spot. And I want to make sure that it's still here when life gets back to normal. So please take this money and use it to keep the restaurant afloat. And that to me was just like, I still have a hard time wrapping my brain around it. I think that this little joint means that much to other people.
The menu at Amilinda changes almost daily based on local ingredients, but a little sampling from when I visited: peri-peri shrimp, sea scallops topped with smoked roe, boquerones doused in lemon, and juicy skirt steak, naturally paired with a glass of sangria or a cocktail.
Inspired by the Iberian Peninsula, so there's a lot of proteins that we use that I didn't think were going to be very well received, but they've surprised me, man. They'll try anything here.
At this point, it was time for me to head out of the city and enjoy summer on the Great Lakes. My first stop, Green Bay, and more specifically, the neighboring Oneida Reservation. After decades of colonial pressure and shrinking land, they began relocating to Wisconsin in the 1820s and 30s, purchasing land near present-day Green Bay, the place they still call home today. I headed to Cedar and Sage, located inside the Oneida Casino Hotel, to try some modern recipes infused with traditional Oneida ingredients. Chef Fabian Martinez, who's been head chef here since 2021, phoned in to walk me through a menu that reflects both his Mexican heritage and local indigenous flavors.
And all that time going back. So the three sisters are the corn, the squash, and the beans. I kind of was like, let's just stick to that southern style of flavor, that southern style kind of, let's incorporate this beautiful white corn. And yeah, that kind of was one of the basis for how we started developing the menu for Cedar and Sage.
Soon, it was time to head north, literally and figuratively, to a place one might call the Scandinavia of the Great Lakes. Immigrants from countries like Norway and Sweden began settling on the shores of the Great Lakes in the late 1800s, drawn by logging, fishing, and a landscape that felt like home. Today, you can see their influence everywhere, in architecture, in flags that hang around small towns, and yes, in food traditions. Door County is known for its fish boils, and when you see one, you'll understand how this tradition has been bringing the heat for so many centuries. To witness the spectacle firsthand, I hit the old post office in Ephraim, where Boilmaster Jeremy Torch Klaubauf gathers guests for a spectacular display that's as fiery as it is flavorful. Although fish boils are all about the drama, the food itself couldn't be simpler. Onions, potatoes, freshwater whitefish, salt, and a whole lot of butter turn this humble meal into a heartwarming Scandinavian feast. Chowing down on the lakeside at sunset, all wrapped in a sweater, did make me feel like a Norse woman, of course, until it came time to tap to pay. Now, my last stop isn't technically a meal, but I would be remiss if I wrapped up a visit to Door County without hitting a mainstay that may dazzle you just as much as the theatrics of the fish boil: Wisconsin's cherry wine. In the town of Algoma, Von Stiehl was the first licensed winery in the entire state of Wisconsin, established in 1967 by Dr. Charles Doc Stiehl, who built his business inside this historic building that stood for more than 150 years. In fact, they still make wines from his original recipes, with sweet and dry wine made from cherries straight out of Door County's orchards. On a tour, you might notice these tiny trolls around. They're said to watch over the winery in a tribute to the family's roots. It's the perfect place to cap off a trip: a warm breeze, sparkling lakefront views, and a glass of sweet cherry wine only made in Wisconsin.
We want to, cook with honesty. We want to cook with soul, and we want to cook for the people.
We all look out for each other. We are all each other's cheerleaders. We all want the best for everybody because, when the tide rises, all boats rise at the same time.
From traditions dating back generations to next-gen chefs reshaping the image of Midwestern food, this trip was full of surprises. And honestly, I'm still full. Are you surprised by Wisconsin's food scene? And if you've been there and done that, what other restaurants across the state should we add to our list for next time? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, safe travels, and we'll catch you next time.